Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another episode of Patsy Rates Cars. If you are new to my channel, firstly hello, or if you are unfamiliar with the format, basically I get my wife Patsy to review a car from a passenger's perspective. Why a passenger's perspective? Well, she can't drive because she has an eye condition, but she is a massive petrol head, so it is always good to get her thoughts on a car. Patsy, come on down. You look like E.T.
E.T. phone home.
Anyway, let's move on. This week we are joined by the new Audi A1. So, Patsy, give me your thoughts on the exterior design, please.
When I first saw like the press photo of it,
Yep.
as in when you first told me what you were getting, what I'm gonna say is I don't think photos do it justice. You have to see this car in
Oh, really? Okay.
in real life. I mean, this just looks like a whole kind of rejuvenated range that Audi have just brought in. But
Yeah.
what I mean by that is, it looks like they've never made an A1 before.
Okay.
And it looks like this is their first release. I find it so different to the old model in nearly every aspect. Like the external design is it's been like rejuvenated, it's been modernised, it's been made to look a bit more fierce and a bit more menacing. I think
A bit more. I think it looks much more aggressive than the previous version.
Had a touch too much femininity.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Whereas this one, it's kind of more.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of wants to grab you by the balls and get going. Look at the front. You'll see what I mean. Like if you look at it, so you've now got like the front. Can you call it a splitter? I'm going to call it a splitter.
Front bumper. I'd say.
Front bumper splitter-ish grille thing. That's what we're going to call it.
Okay, very technical.
So the actual design of it. So the way it's further forward. So you've got the gap between the body paintwork.
Yeah.
You can't see me. The gap between the body paintwork. Then I'm going to call it a front splitter. That just adds a bit more kind of grunt straight away.
And you've got lots of angles as well, haven't you?
So if you look at this bit here, I love how these contrast in shape and design.
Yeah.
Because it breaks it up. I love that these are landscape, and these are kind of like what I call a honey effect, like a beehive effect.
Honeycomb, yeah, honeycomb effect.
Going on to, I'm going to pull this down.
Oh, there we are. We get to see you properly.
Facing the grille, obviously. Not facing the grille, facing the front of the car. I love the fact that, this is going to sound really picky, but with cars, when they have like a bonnet gap, I call it, and it's one straight line, really small detail, but very picky. I like how it's got kind of like the two strut, the bars.
Well, you know what that's for?
Hang on.
Oh, you're so close, go on.
That's on the old kind of 80s and 90s Audis, the Quattros.
Yes,
yeah.
the Quattro, yes, well done. Yeah, so basically this design cue harks back to the Quattro of the 80s.
I love how Audi do that. I've noticed on one or two of their cars, it's so subtle, and unless you know Audi, you won't, unless you know the older generation cars, you won't know that. But I like how they've got a modern car, but still got a touch of the old style.
Can I just bring you round to... Can
I just say one more thing? I like the lines and the sculptures on the bonnet, because it gives it kind of a menacing kind of glance.
Yeah. Let's move to the side of the car. Don't want to take up too much time in this video.
They don't wow me, but they are very nice. The design, I do like the design. I like how... Sorry
guys, they are a bit dirty.
I like how you've got the kind of the black the black panelling surrounding the actual silver. I think it breaks up nicely. Gives it more of that sportier, menacing look again.
Yeah, so those alloys are optional.
Go on, how much are they?
They're only £250, so not too bad. Although, according to the spec sheet I have from Audi, you can't have these alloys on UK cars, but I'm sure if you go into the configurator, you can select those alloys. Quite odd. Yeah.
To be honest, there's not much to say really about the side. The only thing I will side on view. The only thing I will say is the black kind of side skirt. If you look closely enough, it kind of makes the car look a bit flared out. So it kind of makes it And again, small details. I like how it then sharply cuts in there and thins out towards the front.
Yep, so that's part of the contrast pack, well, contrast pack 2. It also gives you black ring mirrors.
Love that.
That's also optional, and again...
Does it include the roof, sorry, the black roof?
No.
Okay, so that's another option.
Yep, but according to the spec sheet, once more, the contrast pack is not a UK option. You can have the black roof for UK cars, but not the contrast pack.
One thing I will say, kind of moving on, start with the roof to the back, I really, really like the contrasting roof.
It's nice, isn't it?
Simply because, again, if this was all blue, it would, if this was all blue, sorry, or one solid colour, not necessarily blue, of course,
Yeah.
it would take away the kind of, the menacing kind of grunt look of the car.
Yeah.
If you like kind of come around the back, I love the back of this car. It just looks so different.
Oh, I'm going to sit down.
I'm going to sit down as well. The back of the car. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like it's frowning at you. What I mean by that is that the kind of the lines over the lights. So it's kind of going like this. It's kind of going. So the back of the design, I do like how it's got some curves, but it's in the right places, so it still has its kind of menacing look.
Yeah.
I love just at the bottom. I love kind of the rear two corners. So I love kind of the honeycomb grille going into the back of this car is.
Right, shall we move inside? Because A, time is getting on, and B, it is quite cold today. Yesterday was lovely in the UK, and today it feels like winter again. Sorry guys, I do apologise for the dirty mat. Obviously, I've dragged dirt in. Right. Ugh. Actually, I'll tell you what, let me stand up for the time being.
So, the first thing I notice when I get in this car, although it's rather dark, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you do have dark roof lining.
It is. I mean, in general, it's quite a dark interior, but it feels like a lot more money has been spent on the inside design than the outside. And what I mean by that is, it does feel very
premium,
luxurious, premium, upmarket, upper class.
I tell you what, it feels like. It feels like they've squeezed a bigger Audi into this car.
Yes.
Yeah.
They kind of miniaturised a larger Audi.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is,
go on.
I do really like the seats. What I really love is when you first look at them, they look really comfortable. They look premium. They look luxurious. They look like they've got enough kind of bolstering and support. But when we get on the move, I'll talk about why that's kind of a bit deceiving.
Okay.
I'll talk about kind of when you're in the car because I don't want you to get cold. But first impressions of the inside.
All right, let me get inside then.
Yeah, first impressions of the inside are top notch.
Top notch.
There's a couple of things I'm going to pick out on because otherwise I'd be here all day. When I first got in, the first thing I nearly hit my knee on it getting in because the seat was forward, but this panel here, now I'm going to be honest, it's the only thing I don't like about being in here. It's cheap, it's plastic, it looks like someone's tried to copy this scales on a fish. That's what it looks like. If you look at the design, it looks very scaly, but this just looks very cheap and plastic. That's the only thing in here I don't like on the dashboard. There are some soft touch leatherettes, and the dashboard, if you look, how soft is that? I'm being a bit forceful, but that's really soft. You can't see it, but you'll see it when you turn it on. But around the handles of the car, and around the kind of the trim of the dashboard, which is not dashboard, but you know what I mean.
Dashboard.
It lights up and you can pick the colour. I love that. I always moan in the other videos about needs to be a bit of splash of colour in a car. That adds it. And the first thing I said when I got in here, and more car manufacturers need to do this, the way that the touchscreen is angled. It's angled and positions more towards the driver.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it a lot easier for the driver to use because they can just go from the steering wheel, they can go like that. They don't have to kind of go around, and they don't have to kind of position their hand at an awkward angle, if you know what I mean.
I kind of know what you mean. I must admit, I've never felt the need to go around to the touchscreen.
But, 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 you, but, but, you, 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 but, you know what I mean. That way it's more direct. Yeah. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I mean? That way it's more direct. You know what I And I just think the way it's positioned, the way it's laid out within the structure of the dashboard, it looks like one premium solid piece of equipment. But apart from that, not like buttons are laid out neatly. It's not button overload. The steering wheel, quite like the design of that. I would prefer it to be flat bottoms, especially if it's an S line.
Agreed.
But apart from that, massive thumbs up in here from me.
So let me run you through what engine we have. So we have a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, which has 116 horsepower with 200 newton meters of torque.
Okay.
This power is made to the front wheels via a 7-speed S-tronic automatic gearbox. In regards to performance stats, mind those barriers. In regards to performance stats, this car will hit 62 miles per hour in 9.6 seconds and continue to a top speed of 125.
That doesn't really impress me.
Well, in fairness, it's an S line, not an S1.
No, I know, but I'm going along the lines of, for the money, it doesn't really impress me. I'm not saying they're bad stats, I'm just saying for your money, and that's what it is with this car primarily.
Well, yeah, we've not actually spoken about the price yet.
No, of course.
So the A1 starts from £17,700, but I've got the S Line, which bumps it up to £20,800. However, I've also got the S-tronic gearbox.
Yes.
So that's £22,325. But this car has been peppered with options, so many that we haven't really got time to go through them all. But in total, this car is almost £30,000.
Don't get me wrong. So for an S Line, I don't know if I'm asking too much, but for an S Line model, please correct me if I'm wrong and I'm being harsh here. Those figures seem like they could be improved upon.
What, performance figures?
Yes.
I mean, you can have more powerful engines. Don't forget, this is a 1 litre.
No, I appreciate that.
So you can't expect too much. Right? And in fairness, you know,
it is quite peppy. It is quite nippy.
Yeah, in reality, this car is pretty responsive.
It is.
And yeah, like you, I wasn't really expecting much from this car's engine. But in the real world, on tarmac, this can actually be, you know, I was going to say pretty fast.
It can be pretty responsive and nippy.
Yeah. The performance is quite strong, and there's not really any turbo lag either.
See, whenever you get like a new press car, I always ask what it is and what kind of engine it has, or features, or what trim level, etc. And when you told me the engine this had, I naturally, and I shouldn't do this naturally, my instinct was, oh, it's an Audi with a 1 litre, so I turned my nose up a bit. But when I first got in this car, if you hadn't have told me it was a 1 litre, I would have easily guessed it could have been a 1.4 easily.
Yeah, it does feel like a bigger engine. Now, speaking of other engines, you can either have a 1 litre with 95 horsepower, which is probably best avoided in all honesty. You can also have a 1.5 litre petrol, which is the same one used in the Seat Ibiza FR and the Seat Arona FR. It's got the cylinder deactivation.
So I'm laughing at the dog, yeah.
Or you can have a 2 litre unit, which has 200 horsepower.
So they're all petrols, there's no diesels?
No. In regards to the 1.5, that offers 150 horsepower.
Okay.
I'll quickly spin the car around.
I mean, I'm just thinking, if I was out to spend that much money, what other cars I could purchase for that money. And that's, with me, that's how I look at it. Now, don't get me wrong, I know this car has a lot of options, so realistically you're looking at the 22 and a half if you didn't add all the options.
Yes.
But even for that money, I don't know, because if you took all the options off, it would be quite a basic
also
model.
It'd be interesting to see how much the new S1 is when it comes out, because
if it's not that much difference,
let's put it this way: if you want an S-Line competition which has got a 2 litre engine,
okay,
off the top of my head, I think that's about 25.5 grand. So obviously an S1 will cost more than that. So dare I say it'd be like £27,000 maybe for an S1. Obviously that is an estimate.
A guesstimate, yeah.
Yeah. So that I may be right, I may be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because that is a lot of money for this kind of car.
One thing I will say, and this is I would say it's a major put off for me. I'm fine with cars that have a firm ride.
Yeah.
I've always said that as long as it's not too firm, I'm happy. I wouldn't say I'm really fussy with how a car rides. If it's way too soft and I'm bouncing around like a jelly on a plate, of course I'm really not gonna I really wouldn't like that. But then on the other end of the scale, if a car is too firm, I don't like that either, and it takes a lot for me to say a car is too firm. But I'm sorry, Audi, this is top the mark for being firm.
Yeah.
I'm feeling every little tiny divot in the road that I wouldn't feel that I haven't felt in pretty much every other car that you've had. And we do this route every time we do a PRC, so it's not a different road. This road hasn't been re-tarmacked, it hasn't been redone, and I'm feeling this road a lot more.
Well, if it had been redone, it would be less bumpy, wouldn't it?
That's true, yeah.
But this is the S Line, therefore we've got the sport suspension, and yeah, Patsy is right. The ride is firm. I would say it's bordering on needlessly too firm.
Yes.
Now I get it is an S Line, it is made to be sportier and more aggressive, but I do think the suspension is a bit too firm. Audi, I think this is a bit overkill. If this were an S1, fine, but this isn't an S1.
See, what I was going to say is I dread to think how firm the S1 is if this is this firm.
Well, I think the new S1 will have adaptive dampers, because the S Line competition, that has adaptive dampers.
So if the S1 wasn't to have adaptive dampers, it's kind of a step back.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure, but I think the last S1 may have had adaptive dampers. Don't quote me, because I'm not overly sure. I've never really spent any proper time with the last S1. But yeah, the suspension is firm. It is busy. The ride is busy. Thankfully, well, no, I know you think the seats are firm. I find the seats comfortable, personally. But
let me just clarify.
Yeah.
They are firm. I'm not I wouldn't say they're outright uncomfortable, because, for example, the bolstering is in a comfortable position for my legs, for my upper body, but the support of the back is too firm. The seat itself, where I'm sat, that's actually okay, but the firmness of the backrest, that is what's too firm.
Okay.
This grips like hell, though, I must admit.
Yeah. Not bad, is it?
This doesn't feel like a 1 litre, and to me that's impressive.
Yeah.
I know I turned my nose up when you said it's a 1 litre, but if you hadn't have told me and waited for my opinion when we were in the car, I would have said maybe a 1.4.
Yeah. That little spurt through there was pretty entertaining. So this car does handle well. The body roll is well controlled.
It has got a little bit of a body roll, but it's not excessive. Yeah.
No, it's not. Darling, anything else you've got to say about the car before we start to wrap up?
No, I don't think there's anything else I'd add. No, not at all.
Okay, so what is your rating out of 5?
I think you might be surprised by this, but I'd give it a 4.
No, I'm not surprised.
The only thing it loses marks on for me is the firmness of the ride, the comfort and firmness.
Yeah.
That loses a good half a point for that.
At least.
And the only other thing that it loses points on is value for money, because I know there's other options out there that I would personally prefer, and I'm sure other people would prefer.
Yeah.
But if you ask me to separate up design of this car, I'd easily give it a 5. I love Audi's design. I can't fault it. But if you were to say design, 5 out of 5. If you were to say kind of comfort, I'm sorry, but I put that down at like a 2.5 or 3. But
Yeah.
I'm taking everything into an overall score, an easy 4.
Yep,
And this is the best looking A1 ever produced.
Well, this is only the second one.
Okay. Well, you know, okay.
This is the best one ever, although they've only made 2.
Well, it is the best one then, because there's 2 to pick from.
You make me laugh, darling. Well, I think it's probably a good time for us to wrap up.
I won't fall asleep otherwise.
Yeah.
I've been trying not to yawn so many times in this video.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, please do give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I, or indeed Patsy and I, make a video when
I'm awake.
When she's not asleep. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.